There's a Japanese engineering secret that's helping outboard engines reach 10,000 hours, while American and European motors are gasping for breath at 3,000. What you haven't been told is the exact manufacturing philosophy that makes a Yamaha outlive a Mercury by decades. The dealer won't mention it because it challenges everything they've told you about horsepower and performance. But here's what's fascinating. This reliability advantage isn't about better materials or tighter tolerances. It's about something far more controversial, and the evidence starts with real numbers from commercial operators who depend on these engines every single day. When marine surveyors examine commercial fishing fleets and charter operations, they consistently find Japanese outboards running strong past 8,000 to 10,000 hours. American-built engines typically reach their expected service life around 2,000 to 3,000 hours with proper maintenance. That's not marketing talk. That's real-world data from engines working for a living every single day. The commercial fishing industry in Alaska proves this point dramatically. Yamaha and Suzuki outboards dominate these fleets because fishermen are running businesses where downtime costs thousands of dollars per day. These folks have tried everything, and they keep coming back to Japanese engines because the math works out better over 10 years of operation. When you're running an engine 8 to 10 hours a day daily in brutal saltwater conditions, reliability isn't a preference, it's a requirement for staying in business. What's really interesting is that this longevity gap has actually widened over the past 20 years. Back in the 1990s, American engines like Mercury could compete more closely with Japanese reliability, but as emissions regulations tightened and manufacturers had to redesign their powerheads, the Japanese approach to engineering delivered engines that met EPA standards while actually improving durability. Here's the controversial part that dealers won't tell you about horsepower ratings and what actually happens as engines age. Here's where it gets controversial. Horsepower ratings aren't the whole story. A Yamaha F-150 delivers exactly 150 horsepower consistently for 10,000 hours. Some American or Chinese engines treat rated horsepower as a best-case scenario that degrades significantly as the engine ages. By 2,000 hours, you might only be getting 140 horsepower from that 150 because components have worn beyond optimal tolerances. The commercial maritime industry provides the best laboratory for testing these claims. Charter boat operations in Florida and the Caribbean, where engines run 6 to 8 hours daily, have documented maintenance costs that tell the real story. Japanese engines require routine maintenance, but rarely need major component replacements before 5,000 hours. American engines in the same service often need powerhead rebuilds or electrical system overhauls well before hitting that milestone. You can verify this yourself at any boat repair shop that's been in business for 20 years. Ask the mechanics which engines they see most often for major repairs, versus which ones just come in for oil changes and routine service. The pattern is consistent across the country. Japanese engines spend less time in the shop, and when they do need repairs, they're addressing wear items rather than catastrophic failures. Up next, we're diving into the specific engineering choices that separate Japanese manufacturing from everyone else, starting with a controversial one-word philosophy. The fundamental difference between Japanese and American outboard engineering comes down to one word: detuning. Japanese manufacturers deliberately design their engines to operate well below their maximum stress capacity. This isn't about being conservative, it's about understanding that an engine component lasting twice as long provides more value than one producing 10% more power for half the time. Take a Yamaha F200 4-stroke outboard. That engine uses internal components that could easily handle 250 horsepower if Yamaha wanted to push them. Instead, they rate it at 200 and design every bearing, piston, and valve to operate in what engineers call the sweet spot of stress levels. This means every component experiences lower temperatures, less friction, and reduced cyclical stress. Over 10,000 hours, that detuning approach translates directly into components that maintain their tolerances and don't require replacement. American manufacturers, particularly Mercury, have historically taken the opposite approach. Their engineering teams extract maximum horsepower from every cubic inch of displacement. This makes sense from a marketing perspective because boat buyers obsess over horsepower numbers. A Mercury 200 Pro XS generates that power from a smaller displacement than the Yamaha F200, which sounds impressive until you understand what that means for component stress levels. Coming up, we're revealing the material science secrets and manufacturing precision that competitors can't replicate. Those pistons are working harder, those bearings are seeing higher loads, and the entire powerhead is operating closer to its mechanical limits. Kevin Root took yet another approach, focusing on innovative technologies like direct injection to boost power while reducing weight. The E-Tech engines were genuinely revolutionary, but reliability suffered because they prioritized performance and emissions over longevity. Complex fuel injection systems and high-pressure fuel pumps created points of failure that Japanese manufacturers avoided by using simpler, proven technologies. The material science difference goes deeper than most people realize. Japanese manufacturers invest heavily in proprietary alloys and surface treatments that competitors either can't replicate or won't spend money developing. Yamaha's cylinder walls use a ceramic composite coating that reduces friction and wear far more effectively than traditional chrome plating. This technology took years to develop and costs more to implement, but it's a major reason why Yamaha powerheads maintain compression and don't burn oil even after thousands of hours. Manufacturing precision is another area where Japanese plants excel. When you tour a Yamaha or Suzuki factory, you'll find robotic assembly with tolerances measured in microns. Next, we're breaking down exactly why Yamaha sits at the absolute top of the reliability rankings. Yamaha's reputation for building the most reliable outboards didn't happen by accident. It's the direct result of design decisions that prioritize commercial and industrial applications over recreational boating. While other manufacturers focus on weekend boaters who might run their engines 200 hours per year, Yamaha engineers their motors assuming they'll be running 8 hours daily in harsh commercial environments. This commercial focus shapes everything from component selection to testing protocols. Yamaha subjects every new engine design to accelerated life testing that simulates 10,000 hours of operation before the motor even reaches production. They run test engines at sustained high loads in heated chambers, spray them with salt water, and cycle them through thousands of cold starts. Any component that shows excessive wear during testing gets redesigned or replaced with heavier duty alternatives. This testing regime costs millions of dollars and delays product launches, but it's why Yamaha engines consistently outlast competitors. The materials Yamaha uses in critical components reflect this commercial-grade philosophy. Their lower units use corrosion-resistant alloys that cost significantly more than the materials competitors use. The gear case on a Yamaha F200 weighs noticeably more than the comparable Mercury or Suzuki units because Yamaha uses thicker casting and more robust internal bracing. That extra weight doesn't help performance or fuel economy, but it means the gear case can withstand thousands of hours of use without developing leaks or suffering structural failures. Yamaha's electrical systems are another area where their commercial focus shows clear benefits. Marine electrical components face constant exposure to moisture, salt, and vibration, all of which causes failures in lesser systems. Yamaha uses sealed connectors, marine-grade wiring with superior insulation, and larger gauge wire than specifications require. Their alternators are overbuilt to provide reliable charging even after years of service. This attention to electrical reliability pays enormous dividends over an entire engine's lifetime, because electrical failures often leave boats stranded far from help. Here's where Yamaha's strategy gets controversial, and it reveals what you should actually prioritize when buying an engine. The company's conservative approach to new technology also contributes to their reliability advantage. While competitors rush to implement electronic throttle control and complex engine management computers, Yamaha continues using proven mechanical systems with minimal electronics. This isn't technological backwardness, it's deliberate risk management because every electronic component is a potential failure point. Yamaha only adopts new technologies after extensive testing proves they won't compromise reliability. Here's where Yamaha's strategy gets really interesting from a business perspective. They deliberately sacrifice some performance and features to maintain reliability standards. The Yamaha F200 doesn't offer some of the high-tech features you'll find on a Mercury Verado, like digital controls or power steering. Yamaha could add these features, but they've calculated that commercial customers and serious recreational boaters value simplicity and reliability over convenience features. This is controversial in a market obsessed with the latest technology, but it's proven to be the right choice for customers who keep their engines for decades. The manufacturing process Yamaha employs sets industry standards that competitors struggle to match. Their Japanese production facilities maintain quality control systems that American and European plants have difficulty replicating. Every engine component gets inspected multiple times during assembly, and statistical process control ensures consistency across production runs. When you buy a Yamaha engine built in Japan, you're getting a motor assembled by workers with decades of experience following protocols refined over 50 years. Yamaha's parts and service network provides another competitive advantage that directly impacts long-term reliability. Their dealer network stocks more parts and provides better technical support than most competitors. When a Yamaha engine does need service, technicians can usually diagnose and repair problems quickly because Yamaha provides comprehensive training and detailed service manuals. This might seem like a minor point, but proper maintenance and timely repairs significantly extend engine life. The company's warranty program reveals their confidence in reliability. While most manufacturers offer 3-year warranties, Yamaha provides up to 5 years of coverage on many models, and their warranty claims rate is notably lower than the industry averages. Lower warranty costs allow Yamaha to invest more money in engineering and manufacturing quality, rather than spending it on fixing failed engines. Next, we're examining how Suzuki, Honda, and Tohatsu are competing with Yamaha, and whether any have found ways to build even better engines. Suzuki's approach to competing with Yamaha involves targeting the same commercial customers, but offering lighter weight and better fuel economy. Their DF series 4-strokes use advanced materials, like magnesium alloy components, to reduce weight without sacrificing strength. This engineering focus has proven successful in applications where weight matters, like center console fishing boats and pontoons, where every pound affects performance. Suzuki engines have earned reputations for reliability that rivals Yamaha, and in some categories like mid-range horsepower, they've actually surpassed Yamaha's sales in commercial applications. What sets Suzuki apart is their willingness to adopt new technologies faster than Yamaha while maintaining reliability standards. Their lean burn control system optimizes fuel consumption during cruising, without compromising power when needed. This technology required extensive development to ensure it wouldn't create reliability issues, but Suzuki successfully implemented it years before Yamaha adopted similar systems. The result is engines that deliver Yamaha-level durability while offering better fuel economy that commercial operators appreciate when fuel costs are high. Suzuki's manufacturing takes place in Japan using processes similar to Yamaha's approach, which explains why their quality control and consistency match industry-leading standards. However, Suzuki produces lower volumes than Yamaha, which actually provides some advantages in quality control. Smaller production runs allow more attention to detail and make it easier to implement process improvements quickly. Honda brings automotive excellence to marine engines, but there's a reliability problem that emerged with their BF225 model. Honda brings automotive engineering expertise to outboard manufacturing, and this shows in their exceptional build quality and refinement. Honda engines run notably quieter and smoother than Yamaha or Suzuki motors, because Honda applies lessons learned from building millions of automobile engines. Their 4-stroke technology is arguably the most advanced in the industry, with features like VTEC variable valve timing that optimize performance across the RPM range. This automobile influence extends to engine management systems, fuel injection technology, and emissions controls that exceed what competitors offer. However, Honda's reliability record in marine applications hasn't quite matched their automotive success. While Honda car engines routinely reach 300,000 miles, their outboard motors have experienced some issues that Yamaha and Suzuki largely avoided. The BF225 developed a reputation for exhaust corrosion problems that required extensive repairs. Honda addressed these issues in later production, but the problems damaged their reputation among commercial operators who demand absolute reliability. Honda's approach to the marine market also differs from Yamaha and Suzuki in ways that affect long-term reliability. Honda treats outboards as a smaller segment of their overall business, which means marine-specific engineering sometimes takes a backseat to automotive priorities. Yamaha and Suzuki, in contrast, consider marine engines core business lines and dedicate more resources to marine-specific research and development. This focus difference shows up in details like corrosion resistance and saltwater durability, where purpose-built marine engines consistently outperform designs adapted from other applications. Tohatsu has a secret weapon in this competition that most people don't know about. Tohatsu occupies an interesting position because they manufacture engines for other brands, including Mercury's smaller models. This means Tohatsu has decades of experience building motors to different specifications for different customers. A Tohatsu factory might produce identical engines that get different badges depending on which company ordered them, and this OEM experience has taught Tohatsu how to control costs while maintaining Japanese quality standards. Tohatsu's own brand engines focus on value and reliability rather than cutting-edge technology, using proven designs refined over decades. The company's manufacturing efficiency allows them to offer engines at price points that undercut Yamaha and Suzuki significantly. This doesn't mean Tohatsu cuts corners on quality, rather they've optimized their production processes to reduce costs while maintaining standards. Tohatsu also uses simpler designs with fewer components, which not only reduces manufacturing costs but also improves reliability by eliminating potential failure points. Tohatsu's reliability in real-world applications has proven excellent, particularly in their commercial-grade models. Their motors regularly reach high hours in commercial fishing and charter operations, though they don't quite match Yamaha's documented longevity. The difference is measurable but relatively small, with Tohatsu engines typically needing major service around 7,000 to 8,000 hours, compared to Yamaha's 9,000 to 10,000 hour capability. For most users, this difference is academic, because few recreational boaters will ever reach these hours anyway. Let's finish by talking about the practical decisions you can make today to maximize your engine's lifespan. The single most important decision you'll make is choosing the right horsepower for your boat. Select an engine that's slightly more powerful than you actually need for typical use. If your boat performs well with 150 horsepower, seriously consider installing a 175 or 200 instead. Running a larger engine at 70% throttle experiences significantly less stress than consistently pushing a smaller engine to its limits. The larger engine will actually cost less to operate over 10 years because it requires fewer repairs and lasts thousands of hours longer. Commercial operators figured this out decades ago, which is why you'll see fishing boats running 300 horsepower engines when 225 would technically suffice. Maintenance intervals matter more than most people realize. Follow the maintenance schedule religiously, but if you operate in saltwater or harsh conditions, perform services more frequently than the manual recommends. Change your oil every 50 hours instead of every 100. Replace your water pump impeller annually instead of every 2 years. Flush your engine with fresh water after every saltwater use, no exceptions. This aggressive maintenance approach is exactly what commercial operators do to achieve those 10,000-hour service lives. The cost of performing services twice as often is negligible compared to the cost of major repairs or early engine replacement. The fuel you choose and how you break in your engine can add thousands of hours to its lifespan. Fuel quality affects reliability more than most boaters acknowledge. Japanese engines are designed to run on good quality fuel with proper octane ratings, and using inferior fuel accelerates wear and deposits carbon throughout the combustion chamber. Always use fresh fuel from busy marinas where inventory turns over regularly. Add fuel stabilizer if the boat will sit for more than 2 weeks. If you can find ethanol-free fuel, use it exclusively, even though it costs more. Ethanol attracts water and corrodes aluminium components, causing problems that cost hundreds or thousands to repair. Ethanol-related failures are one of the few areas where modern engines actually have more problems than older two-stroke motors. Engine storage and winterization procedures separate motors that last 10,000 hours from those that need major repairs at 3,000. If you operate in climates with freezing temperatures, proper winterization isn't optional. Use fogging oil in the combustion chambers, change the lower unit gear oil, and ensure all water is drained from the cooling system. Break-in procedures for new engines directly impact long-term reliability. Don't immediately run a new engine at wide-open throttle. Vary the RPM during the first 10 hours, allowing components to wear in properly without excessive stress. Change the oil after the first 20 hours of operation to remove manufacturing debris and metal particles. Finally, choose your dealer and service provider as carefully as you chose your engine. A skilled technician who knows Japanese outboards inside and out is worth their weight in gold. That Japanese engineering philosophy we talked about, the one that prioritizes longevity over peak power, isn't just interesting theory, it's a blueprint for how you should think about your own engine purchase and maintenance decisions. If you found this useful, check out my video on big fin boats and why they dominated the 60s, and if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button because we're going to keep pulling back the curtain on what the marine industry doesn't want you to know. Thanks for watching. The engine that lasts 10,000 hours isn't magic, it's just better engineering combined with smarter maintenance decisions.